everyone. Hello, I'm Lakwanda.
And I'm Jerome, relationship coaches and founders of One Heart Couples in Richmond. And welcome to this week's episode of Straight from the Heart.
On today's episode, we're going to be having a women's panel discussion on relationships. So we have some women sitting here. They're in different stages in the relationship game. So we're going to ask them some different questions concerning relationships and see what their views are. And then we're going to also ask a few questions that I'm sure everybody wants to know the answers to. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me introduce the ladies to you. Right here we have Miss L.A. Hill. Hi. Sorry about that. She's our newlywed, so she has a new last name, Miss L.A. Hill. Over here we have Mrs. Tanya Harvey. Over here we have Tiffany Estes. And on the end, Akaya Phillips.
So ladies, how you guys doing?
Good.
Sure good, huh? Just good. Everybody good? I tell you what, let's go ahead and get into the meat of what we're trying to get into. So don't get too excited about this first question, but you know how we are as men, we think we got funny, we got one track mind, we weird like that. So my first question to you ladies, and matter of fact, I'm gonna start with Miss Tanya. How important is sex in a relationship to you?
It's very important. It's very, very important. I would have to say that although sex is a physical act and we all enjoy it, I just like the fact that it could be the cherry on the top, but it's not the main ingredient for me. So, I just told a story. But I will say I do love the intimacy as well. We can get that. But if it's not there later on in the years when it's expected, I'm good.
Right.
But right now, it's all good.
L.A.
Well, for me, it's very important. I also feel that open communication between the two about sex, it shouldn't be anything that's taboo. I feel that it should be a selfless act among the couple, and just open dialogue to make sure that everybody's always on the same page. So, extremely important.
Oh, that's what's up.
Tiffany, single lady.
I think it's important. I don't think it's the main ingredient in a relationship, but I definitely think it's important. And I agree with LA. Communication is very important because if you're not getting pleased, that could lead to extra tension in the relationship that you don't want. Tension in the relationship that you don't want. So communication about sex is just as important as the actual act. So it's important.
That's what's up.
Okay.
Well, for me, I know I'm the youngest, but I'm a new mom. I go to school full time, so it's hard. So I don't think it's like the main source of a relationship. Like, I don't think it should determine whether we should be together or not. Sex is sex to me. I mean, we gonna do it or we not gonna do it. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm just being real.
I get it.
Okay. Okay. So that's not your main priority.
Yeah. It's not. I don't come in the house, take off my clothes, let's get it on. No, let's get it on.
But
it ain't going down like that.
So I heard the consensus, and it's funny. I heard the consensus on how this side of the room is answering and how this side of the room is answering. And kind of like this side against this side. So my question is, it's going to be kind of presented more to this side. Is we all understand that a lot of men have that one track mind to where they wake up in the morning, it's that. Even they do a bit, it's that. So when Mr. Kai is saying that it's not that important, how do you deal with it when it's the only thing that's really important to the man? How do you deal with that in a relationship?
Compromise. I compromise. If I'm dead tired, I throw that to the back and I'm like, okay, let's get into it. Let's love on each other. I try to throw that to the back because, like she said, we're going to catch hell if we don't get it together.
I got you. Okay. What you think, too?
I mean, it's definitely going to cause some tension if, the man is not getting his due portion. Because they have to have it a certain, some men have to have it every day. Some, a few times a week is fine. But that's where the communication comes in. You have to know what's good for your man. And if you're not meeting his expectations, that's where the tension is going to come from. So, you know, it's important for me. I understand, you know, for my man, I understand how much he wants it, how much he likes it. And I'm with her. I'm a new mom. I'm tired. I'm working. I just added class. So sometimes he's not going to always get
What he
where he
wants.
wants, you know, and it, you know, but, you know, we find a ways. When I see he's about to make this breaking point or at this breaking point, I'm like, all right, you know,
Wow.
let's
Breaking
get you.
point.
Let me do this and
A
get
little
you.
point to add to that, the communication piece. Like for us women, sex can also be viewed a little bit different. So also letting him know what gets me in the mood. What, you know what I mean? Sometimes it's not just about like, you know, do a little, you know, a little note or a little something. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's a two-way street. You know what I'm saying? So if you're wanting it a lot, here's what's gonna take it for me to, you know, to get there for you. So
I got you, man. Since I'm the only man here, I'm gonna take all this. I'll pass it on down to y'all later. I got you. I got you. Go ahead.
a little thought.
And it's funny, but I will say what helps sustain the sex in the relationship, if you don't mind, to keep them from staring and from the woman from staring, you have to make sure that you're governed by Christ, in my eyes. You have to, and in the Word. Because with my man, his body is not his anymore. That's what my guy said. So, Keith Harvey is not yours anymore.
She put you out there, brother. Oh.
But I'm saying that to say, on those notes, if you are governed by that, you know, and on those times to keep the man from astray, lean on the Lord, fellas. And women, lean on the Lord. Amen.
Great. Let's move on to the next question. With the times being the way they are now, with technology being at the top of the list and everything that's going on, my question is, how has social media impacted relationships?
Who want to take on that one? Single ladies.
Repeat that for me one more time.
What's the impact of social media on relationships?
It can have a good impact or it can have a bad impact. Me and several of my friends, we are all younger. They're a little younger than I am. And I have a friend who likes to boast about her guy on Facebook and like to talk about it. And in return, she get backlash from other women. Me, myself, I'll put us out there, but I don't like putting us out there. It's just because women like what they see. Mm-hmm. They may not like your man, but they see how he treating you, and that's what they want. Mm-hmm. And that's my mindset. I don't want anyone to, like, we'll be like, oh, I love you, he did this, he did that, and the next week we into it, so they like, oh, that's my opportunity to get in there. So social media can have a big toll on relationships. It's just it's just how much you let social media in your relationship and how much you give. That's my thought.
Got you.
Okay. Tiffany?
Yeah, I don't think social media is good for the relationship.
That's what's up.
I do not put my personal business out on social media. Mm-hmm. I will acknowledge that I'm in a relationship.
Right.
And I may shoot him a happy birthday shout out. But that's about the extent of you will see my affection for my mate on social media. You won't see him on social media, and I just prefer to keep my private life private. Mm-hmm. And he's not a social media person either. Mm-hmm. Like literally he just got social media like within the last year, and that was for business purposes. Mm-hmm. Really had nothing to do with personal reasons. Right. And even now that he's on it, I'm still kind of like, I'm not comfortable with that. I was comfortable when I was on it and he wasn't. But now that he's on it, I'm not so worried about, him. He doesn't show me affection. He's not going to put all that out there either. But my concern with relationships and social media is the trolls or the women who want to slide in the DMs and the private messages, because that's the way women are a lot more aggressive these days, and that's the way they like to communicate. And especially if they know a man is in a relationship, now it's a challenge for these women these days, and that's that's my concern about him being. I don't think he's out there, liking. I could care if he does like a pic. I don't care. That kind of stuff doesn't bother me.
Right.
If a beautiful woman comes across your news feed and you like it, okay, you like it. If you slide in her DM, that's when I have a problem. So that's my problem with social media. Like it's very, it opens you up to a lot more drama that, the telephone. You already have enough drama with a phone. Now you have to worry about all these other social media outlets.
Well, in regards for me, I actually didn't post when Corey and I were dating. I didn't acknowledge him on my social media until maybe like 3 years after dating. So it's kind of like we had a nice, solid, foundation before it was like, oh, there's a pic. And then even before that, it would just kind of like pop up here and there. Right. But then eventually he became pretty much the majority of my life. So for me, that's what it was about. You know what I mean? So he's not on any social media. Except for LinkedIn. I mean, professional networking. And I think I do enjoy that about him, but that's how he is though personally. He's not a person who's just all about, a whole lot of talking. So I do believe I have seen social media affect other people's relationship because that foundation I feel like wasn't set. That respect or that you know what I mean, being able to communicate or set those boundaries should be set. But when you have those, I feel like, nothing can stop it. If it's meant to be, and you both have God and it's a nice solid foundation, social media can't block that at all. So it is what it is. I'm gonna post my husband. Yeah. So. I'm not all about the screenshot on what he sends me. Sometimes people can go too far and sending that intimate stuff. Certain things should be left intimate. Like you won't see a picture of him actually proposing. You saw the proposal because that was a moment for him and I. You know what I mean? So you just gotta have those, those boundaries. You don't need to know the whole thing, but yes, I am gonna celebrate love because a lot of times, especially in the Black community, we don't see it. Right. You know what I mean? So it is something to be celebrated, and then if the trolls want to come, they got to deal with God. So that's between them.
Okay. Keep it real.
Shoot.
You said God.
Actually, the Lord say touch not my anointed, so ain't nothing that I can do. Baby, that's going to come against that, so.
Okay, Tanya.
I have seen it tear up some relationships. I have seen it. I've seen it, and it's because boundaries are not set. It's because of lust. It's because the men have to protect their eye gates. Protect your eye gates. And also women. They get tickled just from the things that they read and, hear that they may not be getting at home. So I would say, know who you are. Keep your personal business to yourself, especially intimate relationships and things that go on in your relationship that will help keep the trolls. The trolls. And what are the men then? What are the men when they come?
Hounds. Because think about it, because men got to deal with that too. You all are beautiful women.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And men try to, you got to.
That is true.
My block hand is real strong. I will block in a minute. So, and not think about it, not think twice. So.
Okay, so just be careful with the social media. Don't put your arguments out there.
Right.
Some people, every time they into it, everybody know they into it, and so and then like you said, that's an invite for other women to slide in. Oh, they they looking for it to fail anyway.
Exactly.
So
Young women tripping with you, boo.
And speaking on that also just gives people the opportunity to speak on your relationship too. When you're putting it out there a lot, especially if every time he does something wrong, you're putting it out there. Oh, he did this and he did that. And people are going to speak on it, and then they're going to cross some lines that then it might offend you.
Right? Then you mad.
You mad, but this is your man, and at the same time, you're right. Not your journal. It's not. Yes, you have to be real careful. Not your journal. Yeah.
You're right. That's a good one. I'm still. That's a good one. I'm still in that. That's nice. Because people will use it as a journal.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not.
Wow.
Let's go ahead and get another question.
Let's go into this. Let's talk about families. But let's talk about family outside of the family you're immediate, outside of the ones in your household. So we know we be having some jacked up families. We have some issues when it comes to our mate and their families. So Do you? Hey, I'm sorry. I mean, but it is what it is. I mean, it is what it is. It's something that it's got to be dealt with. So, do you think it should be boundaries set in a relationship when it comes to your mate's family, things of that type of nature?
Absolutely. I have an example.
I
have an example just a couple weeks ago. Okay, so I have cousins and aunts, and they, I'm the youngest, I guess, in the family that's just newly married, and we got the new house, but I still think they look at me like, oh, that's a little, you know, LA. So I have family members that tried to come in town. And they were like, well, they need some place to stay. Can they stay with you? You know, because we're now the house that could kind of like hold them. And I had to protect my household and say no. You know, and they were just like, they were kind of like startled. You know what I mean? Like, no, you can't. First off, you don't just call me at the day of. It's not like something just happened and you're here for, you know, an emergency or somebody's on their deathbed. No, absolutely not. First off, my intermediate family, my husband, my children come first, and my house come first. So I had to protect my house instead of, no, I'm sorry, you cannot. I love you. You know what I mean? I love you, and a lot of times family don't recognize it, especially if they're not, you know, married or never been in that, you know, the situation where, you know, they can kind of look at you, but you got to be ready to go and bat. And then I just feel like when you have that order, when it's God, your husband, the children, and then everyone else, it'll line up. It might be friction for a minute, but they'll just have to respect it, you know, and it'll be good.
Gotcha. Tan, how you feel about that?
She said it. God, my man, and me, and children, and everybody else follow.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. I've had conflict with families, but all my family is all good, Kwani. I don't know what y'all talking about.
Okay, it's just them.
You know, I got to see them in a little bit, so I'll tell y'all the real after the show.
Okay. Tiffany, what's your response to that?
I think I agree with LA. There definitely needs some boundaries need to be set. I definitely know I've had family to live with me for years. So, you know, there has to be, you know, some definite communication between you and your mate on what the boundaries are, you know, and if you two can't agree, then it just, you know, the family has to give you all your space, you know, and if they can't understand that, then that's really not our problem, you know, and we're on the same page with that now. There was a point where we weren't on the same page with that, and it caused a lot of friction in our household, but now that we're on the same page, he understands my way was the right way.
She said my way. My way.
But, you know, because it's like she said, you know, it's God, your mate, then the children, then everything else. And when you try to mix family in there and you're trying to please everyone, someone's going to get upset. Who do you want to be upset? The mate or the family that's not in your household? I prefer someone who's not in my household. You can be upset all you want. I want my inner household to be happy. So,
Gotcha. Okay.
I have to agree with the ladies.
All of them.
I struggle with this. My family, me and my sister, it's like freaking frack. We lived together, and then when I had the baby, it was like, okay, she understood, okay, I have to leave, because now we're going to become a family now. And it's like, we have this understanding where I even ask, like, my sister want to come over, is that okay? Or my brother want to come over to see the baby, is that okay? And he'll be like, yeah, that's fine. Or if, like, when we had the Super Bowl party, my family want to have a Super Bowl party here. Is that okay? Oh, yeah, that's okay. I have to make sure it's okay with him before I just say, yeah, everybody can come on over. And then he'd be like, well, I had plans. And he'd be mad and we be mad and my family be happy, but I'd be upset. So I just always have to talk to him about the situation. Of course, we're new to this, so sometimes we may overdo it, and we may just invite it without even asking, and we'll be upset about it. So sometimes we do cross that line, but sometimes we have an understanding that my family want to come over.
And I'm gonna attest to something LA said. You have to go even deeper when you start talking about inviting people into your home. You start talking about the different spirits that will be left into your home. So even though it's family, you don't know what type of spirits is laying on those spirits, because you know know how God says what the word says. You know, those spirits will jump on you, and you be smiling right there 1 second. They jump on the whole house, and when they leave and they go back where they was at.
Yeah, we had those problems.
We argued, tearing the house down. What didn't happen, boy? All of that type of stuff. So I appreciate that. The answer that the LA gave was like, I know it's my family. I love y'all to death. I mean, really to death. But I just got to move on. And it went, no, but I love you. Maybe another time, but not right now. So I appreciate that answer.
Exactly. Let's see if we can get one more in real quick. What do you think the effect of bringing your past baggage and insecurities from maybe previous relationships into your new relationship?
Oh, wait, Lord, that was me. That was me. Coming from, this is my second marriage, and long-lasting second marriage. Okay. And just saying that you can find yourself not even knowing that you've carried baggage over. You would think that they doing the same thing that the other person's done. And then I would go even deeper. It can also be baggage that you may have had from your relationship with your father that you did not get or got, and or mother. So I would say encourage most people that if you are even thinking about getting married or to be in a relationship, make sure that you go through some counseling first. Get on one accord with God, with you and God, and then with your mate, so you can kind of get rid of all of those things that you didn't even realize was lying dormant. Because it can be a toll. It can be. But it can work out. It can work out. Stay prayed up.
Absolutely. This is also my second marriage as well. I got married pretty young. And I would think it definitely can, but also I do give credit to previous relationships as well, because there are a lot of certain things that you can learn. So all of it is, not baggage, but I do believe just in life in general, learning to forgive yourself. Because I think, honestly, that's where the baggage kind of comes in, because especially for women, it's like a disgust almost. We allowed ourselves to be, treated this way. We allowed this, And so I think it all first starts with just, forgiving ourselves. And then before entering other relationships, making sure we're whole. A man's not going to make us whole. We're whole. Two whole people has to come together. You know what I mean? And so, and just recognizing that, getting yourself together, because, as a woman, we want, we need this man to do this, we need him to do that. But the Lord wants us to focus on him. You know what I mean? And then the man comes and finds us. So, and when we fall in line, I'm telling you, the word is just awesome. When we fall in line and things go that way, then it all kind of works out. Not saying it's going to be easy, or that, the past doesn't, rear its ugly head every now and then, but you recognize it instantly and you cast that thing back out. So.
That's right. She just preached to y'all.
Sunday. Slow down.
From my raspy voice too.
Tiffany, what you got?
Yeah, well, for me, it's kind of hard to have this because, I've probably been in this relationship for about, 14 something years now. So, the last real relationship I had was in college. So he's, been the person I've been with since I've been out of college. And when I think about the college relationship, there was baggage, but we had fun. And it was something I got over very quickly because, certain stages in your life, you expect certain things in relationships and expect certain things out of them. So I didn't bring any baggage going into this relationship. We pretty much got over it, whatever we did to each other, pretty quickly. But I will agree that there were learning lessons from that experience that it opened my eyes to this new experience. And that's one thing I would say, I always kind of maintain I'm not going to allow certain things that I allowed in that relationship to happen in this one. Right. And, so for me, and feeling any type of, like LA said, forgiving myself for whatever I allowed to happen during this relationship is baggage when I've been in this relationship so long that you can go through a breakup briefly and get back together, but you have to let go of what hurt you so bad. You have to start trusting yourself more and saying, you know what, forgive yourself for feeling the disgust or feeling like you've been played or you've been made a fool of. To let that baggage go within yourself, heal yourself, and then if you're going to take this person back, move back, you know, with a fresh, heart. You know,
you made an excellent point.
Yeah, so that's the baggage that I deal with more so than from a previous relationship.
Right. Akaya.
Oh, okay. Well, as Tiffany, I'm very young, so we've been together since middle school. So I really didn't have a boyfriend.
I don't remember middle school.
He is the only boyfriend I had that they know.
Oh.
So I think when I went to college, I made a lot of mistakes, and we broke off when I came back to St. Louis. And then we decided to get back together. That's when we decided that we grew and that we became more mature. Mm-hmm. And now I understand his issues. He understands my issues. We have new issues that we're more mature enough to handle. Instead of doing that little, we gonna break up for a few days because you don't know how to treat me.
Right.
It is more of a, let's sit down, let's think this thing through. We have a kid now, we're more mature now. So definitely, I don't have much baggage, but from the old relationship, I've learned to change it around instead of making it a we about to fist fight. We need to sit down instead of
Okay. Great. This conversation actually, guys, is just getting started.
Let me fan them off.
This has been great. The girls have been giving some excellent answers. So we're going to keep this conversation rolling and come back to you next week with the rest of the answers. As always, remember to follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and check out our website at oneheart.love. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
There's something wrong with her. She had me laughing.